Nothing is quite as thrilling as watching a fish strike your lure. No matter how old you get, it still hits you where it counts. For many people, watching a float go down is their first experience with sight fishing. And yes, bobber fishing is sight fishing at its most basic. Then there is the classic topwater presentation, where you can see your lure in clear or shallow water and watch fish react. That's sight fishing in its purest form. But how about watching your electronics and seeing fish come in and hit your lure 25 feet below the boat? Yep, that is sight fishing too. All of them are fun and have their time and place. Today, on The Edge, James Lindner and Captain Chad Dilts are chasing lake trout and ciscoes in 25 feet of water and deeper. Using a combination of their eyes and today's electronics, they're watching for massive schools of fish in the turpentine clear water, then bombing baits on them. This is as close as it comes to shooting fish in a barrel. Yes, James and Chad are sight fishing in Michigan.
Beautiful, beautiful Grand Traverse Bay lake trout. Awesome.
Closed captioning is provided by Smooth Moves, adjustable boat seat suspensions for a smoother ride.
What do you think?
I think we're gonna go out here and have a good time in some clear water.
I think this is a really interesting mission. Right now I'm with Chad Dilts with Sportfish Michigan, and we're on Grand Traverse Bay. You know, over the years I've actually had the opportunity to fish all over the Great Lakes, and today Chad and I, he's shared with those guys had shared that they got a really interesting fishery out here, and it's vertical fishing for lake trout and ciscoes.
Yeah.
And I know one thing, I'm really looking forward to this activity based on what Ben Wolf is telling me. They're like velociraptors.
They are. They are. They're a lot of fun, and you know, the cool thing about this time of the year is the water is really cold and it's just starting to gradually warm up on the breaks, so we don't know what we're gonna get. I mean, one cast might be a lake trout, the next cast might be a whitefish, and then next thing you know, you catch 15 cisco in a row. So yeah, it's really exciting. It's really
one thing really interesting about this area, Chad, I'd never been to Grand Traverse Bay. I've actually had the good fortune to fish all over the Great Lakes, and this is really a tremendously beautiful area. I mean, this is like a tourist destination. I mean, with all the vineyards and the cherry trees. Right now, it's Memorial Day.
Yep.
And it's a pleasure to be alive.
Yeah. Let's go have some fun. Let's go have some fun.
The state of Michigan has to be one of the most beautiful in the continental U.S. It is known as the Great Lakes State, home to Henry Ford and the Motor City Detroit, Motown, Stevie Wonder, Kevin Van Dam, Kid Rock, Bob Seger, Madonna, Francis Ford Coppola, and don't forget the Motor City Madman Uncle Ted Nugent. Interestingly, Michigan is the only state that consists of two peninsulas, the lower, called Michigan, and the upper, called the UP. It is bounded by 4 of the 5 Great Lakes plus Lake St. Clair, and has around 65,000 lakes and ponds, making it one of the leading U.S. states for recreational boating. Here's an interesting fact thanks to Wikipedia. A person in the state is never more than 6 miles from a natural water source, or more than 85 miles from a Great Lakes shoreline. So with all that being said, the entire state has immense fishing opportunities everywhere, and Sportfish Michigan is your online connection.
I just picked one up on the blade bait. I tried to cast in shallower on this one, made some casts in, you know, the deeper range and had a couple tickles, but if you want to cast right over there, James, I think that school
or cisco.
I can't tell. You know, it feels like bigger head shakes. It might be a lake trout. It definitely feels like bigger head shakes. I think it is a lake trout. Nice. Start the day off with a nice laker.
Yeah.
Got that clear water.
Wow, that water is just amazingly clear. Look how beautiful that is.
Isn't it awesome? And what a lot of people don't realize is, like, you know, a lot of people, you know, only catch lake trout trolling or something like that, and you know, it's crazy to think that for almost a month and a half these fish come in really shallow, and you know, you can cast to them and jig them. You know, you can almost sight fish them at times in 50 feet of water here.
I could actually net them for you, Chad, if you want me to.
Okay.
Here you go.
I didn't know how you wanted to do it there.
Here you
But-
go. Here, let me pop that out.
Yeah,
There,
pop
get-
her out there. So
Here,
hit that
buddy.
fire
Ooh,
tiger
boy.
blade bait.
Boy, that little rascal's awful cold.
Yeah, he is. What did we have coming over here? We had 58 degrees at the boat launch.
Yep.
And then we ran across some 52 degree water, and then once your graph staying here, we're at like 53.7. So nice temperature break, and looks like the fish are here. So good start to the day though.
27, and the three. This must be a cisco here. Huh.
Nice job.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
What do you got? It looks like maybe a lake trout?
Yeah, it's a lake. Or is it? No, it's a. Oh, it's
Oh,
a whitefish.
Is it a whitefish or a cisco?
This segment has been brought to you by Lindner Automotive, and they want to encourage you to drive safe on the road and on the water.
For the bass that thinks it's a bulldog. For the walleye that thinks it's a freight train. For the tuna that thinks it's a torpedo. For the tarpon that thinks it's a tarpon. You need the mono that thinks it's a braid. Suffix Advance. New Advanced Mono with HMPE braid molecules for strength, abrasion resistance, and low stretch. Suffix Advance. The mono that thinks it's a braid.
Bubba has designed a fillet knife for both fresh and saltwater anglers. With our trusted non-slip grip, the Bubba fillet knives provide the precision, control, and flex to fillet any size fish.
From it's gonna be a snowy day season to this baby can handle it season. Fleet Farm has everything you need because right now, it's make sure I've got traction season. Let's get this house toasty season. Break out the shovel again season. Time to bundle up season. And of course, did someone say fish fry season? Fleet Farm is built for every season. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Help your marine engine run smoother and last longer with Marine Pro from the makers of Seafoam Motor Treatment. Marine Pro is specially formulated for all types of gasoline marine engines. Marine Pro works to clean fuel passageways, cleans and lubricates critical upper engine areas, protects from the harmful effects of bad fuel and corrosion, and stabilizes fuel up to 2 years. Just pour it in. Fast starts and smooth running power have never been this easy. Ask for Marine Pro wherever marine products are sold.
The best performing electric fillet knife for both fresh and saltwater anglers. With our trusted non-slip grip, the Bubba electric fillet knife provides the precision, control, and flex to fillet any size fish.
This segment is brought to you by Sunset Country, Ontario, Canada. You gotta come visit.
Boy, look at that, real pretty. Boy, those guys are cool. Great big minnows. Look at that guy, aren't they pretty?
They sure are.
Wow.
Those blue backs coming up in the clear water.
Come here, buddy. Come here. Boy, they are cool. Those guys are pretty tough little guys. You know what, I fish for whitefish a lot. And these guys are so tough.
They're just all muscle.
Yeah, they are.
They're a lot of fun.
Thank you. Here,
Nice
listen,
job.
Maybe do you know what we're gonna do with this guy here? These guys are really hard to handle. And what I'm gonna do is see if I can, oh, there we go.
Grip them right there.
Yeah, you guys, they're really hard to handle. We don't want to hurt them. We're gonna let these guys go, even though they are really good eating. They're really beautiful fish, aren't they though? Just gorgeous. What's a real big one? Some of the bigger ones, like 3 pounds?
Yeah, that's a really
4
nice one. They'll come in the fall and spawn, and they really get a lot of egg weight and fat.
There we go.
Yeah, so some of them, a lot of the ones you'll get into different year classes. I mean, like you just had a nice 2.5 pounder.
Yeah.
But it's not uncommon to get fish that are in that 3.5 to 4.5 pound range.
Wow.
18 to 22 inches. But when they come in the fall and they're spawning, that's when they really get the bulk. So that 24-inch fish, it'll gain like a quarter to half a pound, and you really have a substantial fish. I mean, we tell people, Captain Ben and I, we tell people on the phone, if you want to literally pull on fish until your arm gets tired, they're a great way to go.
That's what you were saying. He says, like, when the bite is on, you'll be catching them every cast.
Exactly, yeah.
That's my type of fishing. I like that.
Yep. And if you don't, you probably don't need to be fishing.
When we took off this morning, Chad had mentioned they don't use the Humminbird fish finder in the traditional sense of the word. He explained to us the mapping is more important than the sonar for initially finding the school. These cold water species access shallow sand flats anywhere from 20 to 40 feet of water at this early season time frame. Keep in mind, this is a 32 by 10 mile bay. It's pretty big. So when these guys get into the vicinity of these massive sand flats, they keep the boat up on plane and physically look off to the side of the boat until they see the pods of fish, which can be up to a quarter mile long. Now that's what I call a school of fish. The crystal clear water here offers you sight fishing opportunities for trout, salmon, whitefish, and cisco anywhere from 20 to 50 foot of water at times. This is truly a unique fishing experience.
You know, you hit that one on black and silver, so I had to kind of follow suit and went with more of like a perch colored blade bait, and it feels like a cisco. It's got like those, you know, crazy head shakes and it's kind of darting around. But that's the cool thing about it, James, is you don't know what you're gonna get.
That's one thing that you guys, with Sportfish Michigan, you guys actually have so many diverse fishing opportunities. You know, I've actually had the good fortune to fish all over Michigan for, you know, steelhead, salmon, the smallmouth bass down in St. Clair, Saginaw Bay walleyes, the Detroit River walleyes, fish for king salmon in Alpena area. And Michigan is just a fabulous place to fish. It really is.
We're so fortunate, and
Boy,
I was telling
a little bit better one there. Come here, buddy.
That's a good one.
Yep.
That is the great thing, James, about Sportfish Michigan is, you know, we really try to focus a lot of our efforts in the Traverse City region, whether it be, you know, the salmon or the steelhead, whitefish and the lake trout, to the tremendous smallmouth bass fishery that we have up here. But we're not just limited to just this area. You know, we offer walleye jigging on the Detroit River. You know, we have captains that are part of Sportfish Michigan that can get you out for muskie on St. Clair, walleye on Saginaw Bay. So, you know, if me or Captain Ben or Captain Ron or, you know, Captain Adam, if we can't get you out in the Traverse City region and you're a little further away, we have a network of guides that can pretty much fulfill your needs. Nice.
Yeah, you really sort of specialize in this. Oh, there you got one on. But you do a lot of steelhead fishing too and river fishing, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And that's kind of how Ben and I connected is, you know, I do a lot of guiding on the rivers and both out of, you know, the salmon ports. And it's really good up here. You know, we have a good native natural reproduction population and we have a good planning program. So
I used to come up here years ago, and it was a couple of buddies and I used to come over and steelhead fishing in spring, which was always a really fabulous time. Boy, these are nice sized average
that's a good
fish.
one.
I know.
That's a good one.
Come here, buddy. Oh, nope, easy, easy. Nope,
yeah, you know, we do have a tremendous steelhead fishery, and it's actually just ending. It's funny, I mean, a couple weeks ago I was fishing post-spawn dropback steelhead in a local tributary, and then that afternoon I came out and ran a trip for these cisco and lake trout. So nice fish.
Aren't they beautiful?
Very nice.
They're amazingly cool.
That's a
Look
chunky.
at these things. I know the water in here, it almost looks like salt water. It's just amazing. It's so clear. Wow.
God, if every fish could just release like that.
Chad, if you had to really identify your really key baits for this fishing lake trout and ciscoes in this situation, what would they be?
You know, I would say that we really correlate it to like the depth zone that we're fishing. So, you know, if we have them in skinny water like this and we're fishing them in 25 to 50, you can't really ask for a better bait other than like these blade baits, because you can vary it in size, 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce to 1 ounce. So, you know, a variation of different colors and brands on the blade baits, pretty much anything will work. And then we really fall heavily on like the jigging spoons in a 3/4 to a 1 ounce. You know, a lot of guys will even throw like a jigging Rapala or a rip and wrap. You know, you were hitting some fish on a rip and wrap earlier, so.
With the Rapala flat jig, this is sort of like a jigging wrap, except for it's actually designed for deeper water fishing situations. But what I do is take this bait, flip it out, and let it sink right to the bottom, you know, pretty quickly. It gets to the bottom in 25 foot of water in about, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, we're almost there. Boink, we just hit the bottom. But what I'm gonna do is like double pump and let it fall back down to the bottom, and I'm gonna actually sort of follow the bait back down to the bottom on sort of a loose line, not really tight line trigger, you know, tight line. In each presentation, each lure you fish, like what Chad's fishing with the blade bait here. Oh, what was that?
Big fish just jumped.
What was that?
Big fish just jumped.
What was that? Yeah. But each bait has its own like little bit of retrieve, you know, to trigger the fish into biting, and that's what it is. And you know, with this bait here, it's like that little double pump, and you follow the bait back down to the bottom to get the fish to bite it. Come here. Ooh, what do we got here? Oh boy, she's a real whopper cisco.
So the Megadown imaging transducer is built right into the motor.
Everything is protected.
Crystal clear imaging. Amazing. What do you guys want to call it? Anyone? Bill? Tim? Megan? Don? Imogene? Bill, Tim, Megan, Don, Imogene.
Built-in Mega Down Imaging. Megafy your next Minn Kota motor with a Humminbird Down Imaging Transducer and get the clearest images from the best motors on the water.
They sleep over there. Head this way to the job site. And the big ones take their lunch break right about now. The Solix series, with our most powerful innovations, from Mega Imaging Plus to Cross-Touch to Auto Chart Live, on our largest screen ever. Fish might call it an invasion of privacy. You'll call it a busy day for your live well. Only from Humminbird.
Let the adventure begin with Lund's all-new Adventure Series. Check out the special introductory price on the all-new Adventure Side Console. Features include a center rod locker and rear jump seats. There's also an optional ski pylon. $1775 and $1675 is also available with a full windshield, or get the $1675 and a tiller. Lund's Adventure Series. Your adventure awaits. To find your nearest dealer or to get a free catalog, visit lundboats.com.
At Mercury, there are no limits to the lengths we'll go to make sure you have no limits either. Unlimited adrenaline, unlimited fun, unlimited weekend. Except maybe having to go home eventually. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
Holy mackerels at the way. Come here, bud, dearie. He's like really aggravated about the whole deal. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Wow. Look at that thing. Are they just gorgeous fish? Look at that thing. Come here, buddy. We'll get this guy back in the water pretty quickly.
He's got some chunky shoulders to him.
Yes, he does. Look at that thing. These guys are sort of really. What does Wolf call them? He calls them the velociraptors.
Velociraptors,
they're really,
right?
You know, one thing that's sort of important for vertical fishing is your line. And what I'm fishing is with a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. I have a real small VMC barrel swivel. And then I have 10-pound 832 braid. And you'll notice what color it is. And this is white, or it's also referred to as ghost. And for a lot of deep water vertical jigging situations, the nice thing about the line is two different things with this white braid. Number one is, believe it or not, is visibility. I can actually see, it's for strike detection. I can visually, when I'm jigging the bait, a lot of times what I'm actually doing is sort of slacklining, and as the bait is falling, with that bright colored line, I can actually see the fish hit the line sort of jumps. The other thing with the 832 braid, because it's non-stretch, you have the ability to hook a fish way out away from the boat, you know, with that, you know, because a lot of times these fish are real spooky, and we're making relatively long casts, and the fish are hitting 50 to 60 feet out, 80 feet away from the boat. But that bright line is really nice for this type of fishing situation. I'm actually fishing with a 7.5 foot, this is actually an Icon walleye rod, but what's really important about it is the action and the power of the rod. You can see how it really folds relatively deep into the rod. The reason being is these ciscoes have a really pretty delicate mouth, and actually it's really easy to tear the hooks out of the fish's mouth when you hook them if you pull too hard on them. The other thing that the longer rod enables you to do is actually to pick it up, but when you're way away from the boat, the longer length of rod is really advantageous to be able to pick up a lot of line to move the bait. You're trying to get that attractive maneuver, and then not only that, as it's dropping back down, when the fish hits, is to reel down and pick up and set the hook. Here, Chad, on the depth finder, like 4 or 5 feet off the bottom, you can see this guy moved up off the bottom and then he dropped back down on the bottom.
All right, ooh, there's some nice head shakes there. Now that one feels like a lake trout. You can feel those bigger head shakes.
Look at that thing,
ooh,
boy.
You can see him down there.
Beautiful, look at that thing in the water, wow.
Ooh, you can see him down there. Yeah, he hit in a little shallower water. Nice fish.
That's what, I'm not kidding you. I'm really so impressed with this activity. This is really unbelievable.
Really nice.
Wow, what a beautiful fish. Look at that thing.
Oh, that is a pretty fish. Here, I'll bring him right over to you. We're gonna get him in that net.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna get him in there. Not much of them, but here,
wow.
There we go. We're on the bubble with that net. I was sort of, there you go. Let me grab the pliers for you.
Yeah.
Come here, you go. Boy, there you go. Boy, what a beautiful fish. We'll get that guy out of there.
Great.
Get this guy back in the water. That's one thing nice with this really cold water right now. They're a lot easier to let go right now.
Look at that.
Beautiful fish.
Beautiful Grand Traverse Bay lake trout.
Many things have been said about rough waters, but few things have been said about a smooth ride. The revolutionary Smooth Moves Ultra is a mechanical suspension system that features a 4-spring design and a hydraulic shock, providing the most comfortable and durable ride on the market. Through passion, tenacity, and the right equipment, you can overcome even the roughest waters.
You want more angling edge? Well, our Facebook, YouTube, and website are constantly being updated. It's like overtime of your favorite show. Check out the store with the brand new apparel. And purchase 5 DVDs at the incredibly low price of $25. That's 5 DVDs for just $25. Place an order at anglingedge.com.
Hey, you just gotta visit Sunset Country.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
What we're doing is, as far as boat control, we're just pinning the boat and then fan casting, moving down the break a little bit, and then fan casting.
That's why right now, you know, all along the Lake Michigan shoreline and in Grand Traverse Bay, it's such an awesome time, April, May, and early June, to come out and come out for these deep water species that you can't take advantage of throughout the, you know, the summer.
Right,
yeah, you know, and all of them are congregated in on the shallows, so it's just like it's a surprise on what you're gonna get. You know, if you want to just come out and catch and release, it's fun. If you want some good table fare, it's all right here.
Well, you guys have been developing this fishery for a couple of years now. I mean, the actual, more that specifically the associated to the ciscoes.
Yeah, you know, we We never really used to guide for them. We had so many indirect catches of them, and clients were having so much fun with them. We figured what a great way to get people out and catch a pile of fish and have a really good time doing it. And
yeah, everybody gets real. Yeah, it gets really easy when you start catching them real fast.
Yeah.
I like catching these.
Exactly. You know, and then you mix in the lake trout, and you might have an indirect catch of a nice smallmouth while you're in here, and you know, it just really makes it fun for everybody.
Hey, for more info on all Michigan has to offer, check out Sportfish Michigan. They'll set you up big time. Every year I've been involved with the Minnesota Fishing Challenge, which is a fundraiser for the adult teen challenge centers all across Minnesota. And it's been a real blessing to me to be a part of this. And I want to read you just a short email that I got from somebody that was there this year. He said, I want to thank you for everything you do with the Minnesota Fishing Challenge tournament. I talked to you briefly at the weigh-in tent following the high school pictures. Something that I believe God put on my heart at the church during the presentation Friday night. As a tournament director, Bernie is worried about the amount of teams and the amount of money. But this tournament has turned into even more than that. First of all, for myself, this has turned into a yearly reunion of my faith and fishing family. Fast forward to Saturday late night, I received a text from my dad that wanted to come over to our hotel room. At first I was reluctant. It was 10 o'clock at night. I wasn't dressed, just finished the tournament, and had another one Sunday a.m. at 6 a.m. on a whitefish chain. He came over to thank me for inviting him to the Fishing Challenge tournament. He was a boat captain for his son. Continually on the verge of tears, he explained that he had never been at any type of an event like this and was completely amazed as he watched it all unfold that night. We talked for a while longer, and he kept trying to explain what he felt. Compassion, love, the Holy Spirit, all of it so present at this event. He looked right at me, tears welling in his eyes, and said that he is a different man from a day ago. I've been at a lot of events like this, and his story is not unique. Without a doubt, he was touched by the hand of God that night. Got a question for you. Has there ever been a time in your life where you sensed the hand of God reaching out to you? A moment, something that happened, just something out of the ordinary where you felt that real tug, that sensitivity in your heart. I know God tries to reach all of us through circumstances in life. People, times, situations. This man was touched by the hand of God that night. He'll never be the same again. Have you ever felt the hand of God touch you? If there's a sensitivity in your heart, act on it. It is no coincidence. It's God going, bing, 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 knocking at your door. Don't let an opportunity like that go by. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, you have a good, safe fishing season. We'll see you on the water. Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for watching. And if you really like what you see, we got a whole lot more. So check us out at any one of these online outlets. You know, in fishing, there are good days and there are great days. Time is just a wink from the Almighty. We plan, target, rig, and play the game like everyone else.